Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about Shane Gillis and why he's so popular. A good way to start off is, here's one of his most popular stand-up clips.
I'm not trying to give myself a pass on being able to use that word, but I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself. My Uncle Danny sneaks grilled cheese sandwiches into restaurants just in case they don't serve grilled cheese sandwiches. I don't know where he's getting these fucking things. It's the best. It's the best. You'll be out to dinner with him, you look across the table, you see him sneaking a grilled cheese. Just... Yo, where'd you get that cheese, Danny? His dad's with him, he's like, that fucker, he's been making them at night. I know he is. I'm not making them at night, Dad. Then he'll look at you and be like, I'm making them at night. Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about Shane Gillis and why exactly he's so popular. Shane Gillis is an American stand-up comedian, actor, sketch comedy writer, and podcaster. He co-hosts Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, the most subscribed to podcast on Patreon. Shane, middle name Gillis, was born December 11th, 1987, in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. While attending Trinity High School in nearby Camp Hill, he was on its football team as an offensive tackle. He graduated in He subsequently attended and played a year of football at Elon University, and eventually graduated from West Chester University. After graduating, he spent 6 months teaching English in Spain. Gillis began performing comedy in 2012. He commonly performed in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. To further his career, he relocated to Philadelphia. In 2015, he placed third at Helium Comedy Club's annual Philly Funniest Tournament, and he won the tournament the next year. Gillis stated that his stand-up influences are Louis C.K., Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle, Patrice O'Neal, Bernie Mac, and Bill Burr. In 2016, Gillis began Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast with Mac McCusker. Shout out my dogs. In 2017, Gillis became a frequent guest on The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Dan Soder, increasing his popularity. He also began a weekly show on Compound Media called A Fair One with Tommy Pope. That same year, Gillis was recognized as a new face at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. The interviewer, Andrew Limbong, described Gillis' set at the festival, writing, "Shane Gillis gives off post-jock energy. Like someone who used to play a sport in school and then had the self-awareness to realize he wasn't cut out for it and stopped. But he isn't bitter about it at all. His friendly demeanor distracts you while he sneaks in just a whiff of social insight within a barrage of self-deprecating sex jokes." Shane's new role on SNL was announced September 12th, 2019, and he was canceled that very same day over jokes about Asians while pretending to be racist. However, not everybody thought he was pretending. This has to be the worst thing that has happened in early September that I can ever recall. This led to a common practice of Twitter users brigading anybody who may or may not have done anything that more than 5 people do not think is very cool, resulting in his expulsion from the show's cast, which may be the end of some people's career. But for him, it was not. The young bull who burst into popularity December of 2020 with his web series Gilly and Keeves has indeed managed to carve out his own niche in the comedy world, with such pieces of American classic cinema like Isis Toyota, Uncle Daycare, and Donald Trump speed dating. Gilly has tickled funny bones and pushed boundaries, even releasing a second season. His knack for making light of taboo subjects without coming across as taking himself too seriously has enabled him to amass a loyal and ever-growing genetically himself. And that's why he's accumulated so many loyal fans. But, well, hey, maybe that's just my opinion. But another thing that people don't seem to be talking about recently is exactly how barren the landscape of comedy has become. And not in the aspect that it's not available, but in the aspect where comedians like Andrew Schulz and Joe Rogan are dominating the scene. We've seen a shift in comedy where the focus is veered away from the art of making people laugh and more towards pushing boundaries and creating controversy. In this climate, we've seen comedians use their platform to make bold statements about freedom of speech, but often it's a guise for offbeat impressions and basically just to be edgy. Which, another aside, and maybe this may seem kind of mean, but don't we all think that Schultz makes enough money to not have this haircut? Okay, back to my other complaints. Bert Kreischer, on the other hand, is alienating his fans by how many fake push-ups he can do while doing his even faker laugh.
I've watched it 10 times. It's never not funny.
Doesn't that just get you going? Proudly wearing his early morning drunkenness as a badge of honor, these comedians, while popular, can sometimes forget the core purpose of comedy. To bring lightness, to bring joy. Being a comedian isn't an excuse just to be an annoying person. Gillis stands in stark contrast to comedians who have fallen from grace due to taking themselves too seriously or disrespecting their fans. We've seen this with Brendan Schaub and what happened in the Fighter and the Kid subreddit and the backlash he faced for flaunting his wealth. Right now we're seeing it with Bert and Tom Segura, who faced a wave of dislikes for their vodka promotion video as a result of disrespecting their fans, and also for calling them pedestrians, for not wheeze laughing as if they fought in the trenches of Vietnam for the right to be drunk at 10 a.m. The most important thing these very famous comedians do is they provide a means of accessing funnier and up-and-coming comedians, and for that, I do give them credit. Gillis will be selling out arenas and winning over audiences with his down-to-earth humor. He's not trying to be anything other than a guy having a good time. So, without much further ado, I'm going to leave you with another clip, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
The gayer the army, the scarier. Forever, dude, throughout history. Think of any army throughout history. Imagine them gay. Gay Nazis? Just when you thought those guys couldn't look any sharper, they... Gay Vikings? Gay Vikings, dude. You're just some villager looking out on the shoreline, see a bunch of Viking longships coming. You're like, oh no, it's the Vikings. They're gonna rape our wives and daughters. Then they pull up their fucking rainbow flag on their boat, and you're just like, oh, fuck. Oh, that's way worse.
So, in closing, what makes Shane Gillis so popular? It's simple. It's the ability to connect with his audience on a human level without alienating them. He's not just a comedian, he is a human. The proof is in the pudding as far as his popularity. Look at his first comedy special that he released on YouTube, raking in about 23 million views, and a Netflix special that followed. It's clear that his approach to comedy is a winning formula, because he's not here to pretend that he's anything other than a comedian. He's a breath of fresh air. A beacon of wit in a world, aka comedy, that often takes itself too seriously. If you want a fresh take on comedy, Shane Gillis is a comedian for you. And if you like what I had to say about this, please feel free to like, follow, subscribe, send this video to your grandmother. Until next time, farewell.